Hello everyone, and welcome to the Striaton City Gym. My name is Zaz. I'm kind of flying solo today. We're just going to give you a GLC game, kind of testing out a different way to record voiceover as well as a new recording setup. The last couple of videos you've seen have been using a webcam for the top-down view. Now I have a GoPro. We have to work on the glare, but I definitely am liking the quality of the actual video itself. Today, we're bringing you some GLC content. Tanner is our player on the left, playing a metal deck, while Kevin on the right is playing Fairy, a very underrepresented type as far as GLC is concerned. If you've ever played GLC, it's a singleton format, very similar to Magic the Gathering's Commander format. You're only allowed to play one of any type of card, except for basic energy cards. And you're limited to one type of Pokemon. So Tanner playing Metal, he is only allowed to use Metal-type Pokemon. Tanner's real strategy is to kind of go for a big beatdown, kind of like assault with his powerful Metal-type Pokemon like Melmetal, Earthworm, Capparaja, and Dialga, while using cards like Jirachi, Berserker, Bronzong, and Magearna as like supports. Jirachi is, and if you're used to GLC, he is not playing the Stellar Wish Jirachi, he is playing the Dreamy Revelation Jirachi, the amazing rare, where he gets to, if it's in the active spot, look at the top two cards of his deck, put one in his hand, and put the other back on top. Kevin playing Fairy has a lot of cards that kind of like disrupt his opponent. He's going for kind of like a mill stall kind of strategy with his deck, playing cards like Gardevoir to search for 3 cards with his attack, Florges to put item cards from his discard pile back into his hand, Cleffa with using its ability just to help him draw more cards, Slurpuff getting him that extra draw. Just a lot of different ways that he can draw cards and churn through his deck very quickly. A lot of things with GLC is that it's a very slow, methodical format. So like in the last turn you saw, or on the first turn you saw Kevin not really do anything. He didn't really play a card because he only has one of every card in his deck, so he might not have the most consistent hands possible. Tanner able to play cards like Sonya. People don't normally play Sonya. To get him some basic Pokemon to kind of fill up his board. Donking is a very real threat in this format. Locally, we have a lot of people interested in GLC, so we're kind of like doing a little GLC league, and a round robin setup. So everyone is going to play every other person in their pod. We have 2 pods because we have 15 people interested, which I think is great. We kind of like divvied up the types. A couple people playing, sets of people playing multiples of a type. Just to kind of mix it up, have some fun. We're going to take the top 2 of each pod and kind of do like a top cut. Kevin playing Peonia, a card that's really going to help him kind of mitigate his prizing, get rid of things that he knows he isn't really going to need right now. Maybe he'll be able to take them later if he is via Seeker to Peonia again. His strategy really not involving taking prize cards. I don't know if he even plays enough energy to attack in his deck, like to do damage. So that would be kind of scary for him. Yeah, he only plays 2 energy in his deck. That being 1 basic fairy energy, and then 1 special energy called Wonder Energy, where it prevents all effects of attacks except for damage done to fairy-type Pokemon. You're going to see Kevin play a lot of cards like Team Rocket's Handiwork, Team Flare Grunt, Misfortune Sisters, trying to mill out his opponent as much as possible. Tanner's just going to go for big damage. So Tanner uses Evolution Incense. he grabs, it looks like he grabbed, yep, he grabs Metal. Kind of looking through his deck, not being as methodical as Kevin was. Just because he knows he's gonna have to like eventually attack and do damage. Kevin knows he's not going to, so he has to kind of conserve his resources a little bit more, make sure he doesn't get donked. No, he is afraid. Tanner eyeing up the Iono, goes for the Dreamy Revelation first. Eyes up, I think that's Q-Fence and VS Seeker. So he could use VS Seeker to grab Sonya to get himself some more basic energy cards. Looks like he's just gonna grab the Q-Fence. Thinking about benching it down. He's eyeing out that Iono. Decides not to bench the Q-Fence. I kind of like that because a very popular card in this format, like everyone plays it, is Parallel City. And he just has a feeling, you know, if I bench it now, it's probably going to get discarded anyway. So let me just not bench it. Let me just save the resources. That's Metal Energy to Metal. That guy's getting ready to go. Metal. For 3 energy, we'll do Ingot Swing for 80 damage. And then we'll prevent all damage done by Pokemon with abilities. And then Blasting Hammer for 4 does 150 and then discards an energy. So Blasting Hammer, very powerful attack. Hasn't been able to attack yet. Kevin going for the Hisuian Heavy Ball. Just trying to get himself some basics. He did only look at 3 prize cards with Peonia, so maybe he was looking for another basic. Maybe he just miscounted. Maybe he just wanted to know what all of his prize cards were, just to be certain. He does have Lily's Pokédoll in hand. Super annoying card if you were playing in the late Sun and Moon format. Whenever you knock it out, your opponent knocks it out, they don't get to take a prize card off. So this is part of his strategy. Just stall with the Pokédoll, using Florges to kind of recycle it, since it is an item card until it comes into play. Kevin playing Bridget, very similar to Gloria in effect in this format. Gets you 3 basic Pokemon, and just puts them onto the bench. Just kind of trying to fill up his board. He does not fear the Parallel City. I think he has a good idea of what he would want to get rid of anyway. Probably knows Mr. Mime is not going to be super useful. Tanner does play the Orthworm that does bench damage, but I don't think he's really afraid. Especially because he hasn't seen it yet. Slurpuff's going to draw him a card, gets him, I believe that's the Floette. Yeah, the Floette. Kevin just passing in turn. You're going to see Kevin really not do a whole lot for the first little bit till he gets set up. Tanner's just chilling with that Jirachi in the active spots. Uses Dreamy Revelation, sees the Metal Saucer and Tag Call. Plays a Tag Call. Will allow him to get 2 tag team cards. Not even just supporters. Now in this format, really the only targets you have are supporter cards. So just being able to see Guzma and Hala, Cynthia, Caitlyn, Bao and Lana, very good cards to see. Guzma and Hala will let you search for, I believe, you get to search for a stadium card. If you discard 2 other cards, you get a special energy, a tool, and the stadium. Yeah, you get a stadium card, but if you discard 2 other cards, you also get to grab a tool and a special energy. So Tanner really utilizing the full effect of Guzma Hala, discarding Raihan and Kaparaja. He doesn't have the Q-Fint in play, so not really useful right now. He does have a Rod card and a Rescue Stretcher just to help him out. It looks like he grabs Parallel City. I believe that's Metal Goggles and double Colorless Energy. I know the glare is kind of bad. I do apologize. We're working on it. You know, it's a work in progress. So plays the double Colorless Energy. looks like he attaches metal goggles, saying, you know what? If you have effects, no sir, can't have them. Then he just bounces his own Crystal Cave for Parallel City. Parallel City, a really cool card. Depending on the way that it's pointing, will do different effects. So it does affect both players. So the blue side, as it's pointing towards you, you can only have 3 bench Pokemon. The red side is pointing towards you, you have to, or your fire, water, and grass Pokemon do 20 less damage. Going in with the metal swinging, Kevin getting to play Floatstone on Slurpuff, and then Colress for his supporter. Colress, super fun card. Shuffle your hand into your deck, and then you get to draw a card for every benched Pokemon in play, both yours and your opponent's. So he's going to get to see 6 new cards. This is a big shuffle. Still would like to see a way to get Ribombee into play and Gardevoir. So he does have the Robo Pokédoll, plays Team Yellhorn to confuse both Pokemon. He's not going to attack, so it doesn't really matter to him. Looks like he's eyeing up playing the Cleffa. We do have an issue, though, with the Parallel City. He couldn't play the Robo-Doll. Looks like Tanner caught him on that. He was kind of eyeing up the Cleffa, so hopefully he's able to play that Lusamine next turn. Looks like he's just going to sacrifice the Flabebe. Tanner is confused, so if you don't know how confusion works, if you attack, you have to flip a coin. If you get tails, you will take 30 damage. Your attack is not successful. If you get heads, your attack is successful, but you are still confused. Tanner does have Guzma in his hand. So he could Guzma, Guzma the Slurpuff, stop the draw and the Floatstone retreating, while also getting to look at another card with Dreamy Revelation. Keeps the Marnie and then puts the Taint and Liza back on top. But he's just going to retreat into Melmetal and attack for knockouts. Most, if not all, Fairy-type Pokemon are weak to Metal, which is very unfortunate for Kevin. It would have been nice for Tanner to not be able to attack him with just his 80 damage attack. But just, this is not how it works. Weakness is a very strong effect in the game. Kevin playing the Iono. As the game goes on, Iono is going to be better and better for Kevin. Also, N. Tanner will not get to draw as many cards. And Kevin will always refresh up to 6. Eyes up the custom catcher. Or the counter catcher, excuse me. The counter catcher for the Dialga. And then he plays Captivating Pokepuff. That's a card where... Well, let me back it up. Counter catcher. If you're behind on prize cards, you just get a free Gust. Just like Boss's Orders. And Captivating Pokepuff, your opponent will reveal their hand, and then you get to play basic Pokemon onto their bench. Similar to that Manaphy that came out a little while ago. Kevin got to play Timer Ball as well. Flip 2 coins. If any of them are heads, you get to search your deck for a evolution Pokemon. Or for as many heads that you get. And then he'll grab the Kirlia, and then he just retreats into the Robo-Doll. Another card where if Tanner will knock it out, not get to take any prize cards. Dialga is stuck in the active position. Tanner playing Cynthia to shuffle his deck and then draw 6 cards. Can't really do anything. So he is just going to use that Dialga's attack from Celebration. Temporal Backflow. He'll put a card from his discard pile back into his hand. He grabs Guzma for the following turn so he can take a knockout on one of Kevin's Pokemon. Kevin playing Cynthia and Caitlyn. He has to discard a card to play it, and then he'll be able to put a supporter card from his discard into his hand. Then if he sorry. Let me back it up, as I read that card wrong. Play Cynthia and Caitlyn to grab a supporter from his discard pile and put it into his hand. If he discards another card, like that Team Flare Grunt, then he'll get to draw 3 cards. It's been a while, and it's late at night at the time of recording this. I apologize. So Kevin eyeing up, he has the Rescue Scarf, which I believe will put his Pokemon back into his hand if they're knocked out. He attaches that to Kirlia. Yes, that is exactly what it does. If it's knocked out by damage, he gets to put it back in his hand. Not really a whole lot else he can do, unfortunately. Tanner has the Guzma. We knew that. So I guess Kevin really wanted to preserve that Kirlia. Puts it back in his hand. He does have Ribombee. It was the next card. That's what he was looking for. I remember him telling me this. He needed that card the previous turn. Ribombee having the ability Mysterious Buzz. It's on the bench. Whenever they play a supporter, they prevent all effects done to his Fairy-type Pokemon. So Ribombee able to cancel out the Guzma, so Tanner would have to knock out the Robo-Doll. He has it now, which is a little unfortunate. But for the rest of the game, Tanner cannot use supporter cards on Fairy-type Pokemon. So Kevin has the doll in the active spot. And now he's going to hopefully try to start milling out Tanner. We do want to see, at some point in this game, a Rare Candy and a Florges. So we can try to get these dolls back and cycle through them. That's really going to be Kevin's game plan. Getting heads on Florges flips to put the dolls back into his hand. So he can just kind of cycle them and deny Tanner the last 3 prizes that he needs. It's all there. He just needs to be able to get Florges into play. Remote Ribombee does have free retreat, I believe. Yes, does have free retreat. I got the Nest Ball. Maybe a pivot for his Ribombee. Something that he doesn't really care about, because he does need all of the cards that's there. Florges is in the deck. He does grab the Cleffa. Cleffa able to use its ability to shuffle Kevin's hand into the deck and then draw 6 cards. That will end his turn, similar to the old Cleffa. In the base set to Neo format, that would use the Eek attack. Similar idea. Kevin just going to go for the Iono, limiting Tanner to 3 cards. We're hoping to get Team Rocket's Handiwork or Misfortune Sisters, something to help mill the deck. Kevin does have the Gardevoir, but I don't know if he would want to attack with it. He doesn't even have energy, so he can't attack with it. I think it'd be nice just to evolve, just so that way it's out of his hands. So in case that Tanner does play a card like N, oh no, he can't play N. He can't play Iono either. Maybe Marnie or something. It just stays back in his hand, or it's on the field and doesn't go back into the deck. They are kind of talking about. I remember this. We got GLC pins from the Tricky Gym store, and they were talking about how they didn't like the color of the metal ones, and they don't even have a fairy one, so they're talking about how to paint over it or color over it with paint marker. Kevin retreating into the Flabébé seems... I don't know if I really like that play. Let me look at Kevin's deck list here. Oh, okay, now I know why he did that. So, awkward for Kevin. He does not play Rare Candy in his deck, and I believe that the Floette is prized because he hasn't even made an attempt to go for it. So he's just saying, you know what? I can't ever get it. He's used Cynthia and Caitlyn to grab, Iono. Could have used VS Seeker to grab, Peonia. I don't know why he wouldn't do that. Kevin does have Escape Rope. He's kind of eyeing it up. But he does know Tanner just going to go into Jirachi anyway. So I think you need Field Blower or something to kind of like deny your opponent just the ability to just get out of the active spot. Tanner going crazy over there with the hand shuffle. Kind of wild. Kevin has used a lot of resources. He's kind of struggling, I think, just because like he doesn't do damage. So it looks like he is gonna play VS Seeker. He copied Iono with the effect. Has the Chaotic Swell. Very nice card. If your opponent were to play a Stadium to get rid of the effect, or get rid of Chaotic Swell, their Stadium is discarded instead. So he's going to retreat into Cleffa and go for... And that does not look like he's going to try to draw some more cards. I think he's happy with the hand the way that it is. Tanner has energy for Bronzor. And then a Marnie. The other card in his hand was Chorus, but I like this, kind of keeping Kevin's hand as low as possible. And, you know, unbeknownst to him, Kevin did have a lot of supporters in his hand, but he does have Team Rocket's handiwork. See if we can get some mills going on. Anything that can happen to disrupt the flow of the game. But Tanner only has one prize card left, so I don't think there's really anything that Kevin could do realistically to make it happen. And he's just gonna scoop the game. He does. Oh, he had his only other energy prize and the Floette. Unfortunate. And Field Blower. His prizes were awful. That's Arizu, Floette, and Field Blower, and his only other energy card in the deck. Craziness. Well, I think for closing thoughts, just because like. I don't really know how the fairy deck plays. I would have liked to see him... I think there was just one turn where he let the Floette die. Or the Flabébé get knocked out by the Melmetal. And he used his Cleffa to draw cards. He could have still used the Cleffa at any point in the game. I think it would have been better for him if... He put the Cleffa in the active and then saved the Flabébé. Then the next turn, maybe he could have used like Peonia with his VS Seeker. Potentially grabbed the Floette. And then the Florges. And then he has the chance to like start churning out through the deck. Because I think his whole deck relies on Florges recycling your item cards. But you know, again, that's hindsight. I think it's very difficult to kind of think in the moment of what you would do. But I still think he played it just fine. Very risky of him to bring a control deck into a GLC game, but I respect. And that's gonna do it for us. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know if there are any other kind of games you'd like to see. We've been experimenting with GLC, Standard. Myself and Kevin have been playing 2010 format that I want to record a video for and get that out. Any other kind of games that you want to know or that you want us to play, let me know in the comments. I would love to play different formats. Until then, this has been Zaz, and thank you so much for watching.